Hey everybody, we've got a new find for the week. I got a new little treasure, little toy we picked up. I have no idea how old this thing is, but we're hoping it's going to work well for us. And the price was right, that's the main thing. So we make hay, and this is an old rake somebody had listed for $100. Can't go wrong, it's only $100. Even as a lawn ornament, it's probably worth $100. But it still works, it's fully functional. The guy used it to rake his hay on his farm. He sold it, retired, and now he's moving farther away. He wants to get rid of the rake. So I think there's definitely more than $100 value here. And well, we're looking forward to using it this summer. We've got hay here. I'd like to try to make dry hay this year instead of wrapping it. We always wrap our feed. It's just simpler. You don't have to worry about the weather. Just cut it, bale it, wrap it. And the wrapping, it preserves it. It's a silage, just kind of like, it ferments it, I guess. So it's something that preserves, and you don't have to worry about drying it. Dry hay can be incredibly hard to make, depending on the year, I guess, just with the weather. So this year we're going to try drying some, making some dry hay, and well, we're hoping to use this guy to do it. So I better get off this thing and make sure Wes doesn't wreck it. We're trying to pick it up that way, and I don't think that's going to work too well. We'll get a chain on that. So anyway, that's what it is. It's a rake. It's got front wheels on it, which is kind of odd. I've seen rakes like this before, but they usually just have back wheels. This has got front wheels and back wheels, so you'll be kind of curious to see how it all works. And we'll give her a go. Good afternoon. What a beautiful day again. Look at that blue sky. Absolutely stunning. Okay, little project. Big project, little project, medium-sized project. Medium-sized project for today. This tractor, this is our Farmall 90. This loader comes off an old Case IH 886 tractor that we've had for years. And this front plate is what, at least what I call a Fry quick attach plate. The old school buckets, you had to take the pins out of both the cylinders and the loader and then hook them up to your bucket, or then unhook those pins and hook them up to your forks, whatever you want. They then come up with this quick attach plate, so your fork, your bucket, whatever you have, has a female end that clips over top of this with these holes. Point in the right spot. These square holes here on the implement that you can drop pins in. So it's way faster for hooking buckets up. My buckets, though, are different. All my attach is what's called a Euro quick attach. Maybe we'll get a little closer. And it just has these hooks on the front, or on the back, sorry. It's got a hook on the top, and it's got this in a different direction on the bottom. And so I modified this Fry quick attach plate at the time to kind of work. That's why it's got these big gaping other holes in it. It had this flat one, original, for Fry, and then I made this big long one for the Euro. And it kind of works, but this top part is not designed to go into those hooks on the bucket, so it slips off from time to time. And it's also not strong enough. I don't know if you can tell or not, but it is bent. The whole thing's kind of warped. It's hard to tell on camera here maybe, but it is not true anymore. So I got my brother. I have one of my brothers. He is a mechanical engineer, and he does a bunch of designing on, I'm not sure, some kind of software. He's designed a bunch of parts for me, because the Euro, you can actually buy a conversion to go from these Fry loaders to a Euro quick attach, but they're not cheap. And well, that's why I've been holding off doing it. I'm too cheap to spend that kind of money on it, I guess. So I got him to design me one up and get all the pieces cut at a manufacturing shop, which is probably about 2/3 the cost of new. Now, I still got to weld it all together and paint it. So by the time I'm said and done, it may end up running me more money this route, but if I don't pay myself anything, then it's still cheaper, right? So I also gave him something to do, and it's kind of a neat little project. A few things missing on there so far that I know of. All these pins here, I can't tell the glare on the camera here. You can tell it's beefed up. The steel is thicker where the pins go through. Okay, and it just allows it, there's less wear on these plates. Same thing on this side. Where am I pointing? Here, you can tell these things are a lot thicker on the ends here. So that does not get manufactured. I'll have to design that or cut the ones off of here. I might be able to do that as well and just weld them on. And yeah, I think other than that, everything's good to go. So that'll make it a lot stronger. Otherwise, I'm relying strictly on the flat plate. So I'll have to do some manufacturing on that yet. And I think that's it. Other than, like I said, I got to weld it all together. So I'm hoping to at least tack it together right now, and then figure out what else I need. That's kind of my plan in this beautiful sunny day. Pardon the noise, I got the generator running so I can weld. That's my big generator, 8,000 watt, and running my welder off of that. Actually works really well. And so anyway, this is those pieces that I had all put together. This would be the top bar to pick up the bucket, and that's the bottom bar it sits against. And then it'll lock through these holes with the pins and side pieces. So I've got them all tacked together. We're going to stick it on here once we get this one off. And it should all fit before I weld it real good. I'll make sure it fits. I still got this plate to put on, and then the pins that go in these holes to hold the bucket on, as well as there's a handle that I got to put on. So that plate will go on in between here on the other side. We'll get that tacked on as well. Once we make sure this is in the right spot, then we'll do that. And then if I'm certain it's good, then we'll weld everything up. But I might just try fitting the bucket on just to make sure it all does fit before we get too carried away. Otherwise it'll be a real bugger to weld them or to grind them all back off again. Wes is just taking these bolts out here so we can get this old plate taken off. Okay, my phone had died, and I was going to film this thing with on, but I took it back off already. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Basically, in the old days, you would just have a loader like this, and then this is totally loose. You could hook up to your bucket and move your pins, and it was just a royal pain because you had to hook 4 pins up every time you wanted to take a bucket off or, you know, put a fork on or something. So these quick attach plates made that a lot simpler because you can just go ahead and scoop something up. And then this is what the new one looks like. So I got it all welded together. It worked really good. I just tacked, and I scooped up my bale fork with it. Worked amazing. So now I'm going to go ahead and weld that up solid. I don't know if I'll get it all done today, which means I won't get it done tomorrow either because I got other plans. But we'll get as much as I can here, and then I'll add to this video whenever that part's done. I still have to put the handles on. There's a handle in here somewhere. Oh, this guy right here. I gotta do all that yet and hook it up to these pins. And then these bushings I gotta cut off yet. I call them bushings. I don't know what you want to call them, but these pieces here, I'm gonna cut them off of here, and they gotta get welded on to this one and this one to give it extra strength for this pin that goes through. So we'll have to take care of that part yet. But yeah, it's coming along. I am very, very happy the way it fit. So, like I said, I'm going to go tack it up. But I got to get the other plate on there now. The kids need the bucket. And so we'll put the old fry plate back on so that they can go ahead and use the bucket. My other tractor is actually down and out right now. An injector pump blew on it. So it's sitting up top on the hill there. Up there somewhere. Right there. Till it gets fixed. So, anyway, we'll get this put together and then they can go get sap from the bush. Right? Yep. Alright, this is where it starts. They got this thing full of sap. Plus these 2 tanks. I'll be dumping mine in here. And then they're gravity feeding it over. Out the hose. All the way up to the cooker. Which I showed a little bit of. This is wood fired. It runs in here on a float. So as it boils down, automatically adds more. Awfully steamy. Can't see anything. Hang on. Alright. So it's cooking in there. I don't know if you can make that out or not, but it makes it through here. And eventually goes to the other one. Through here. It goes out this guy. Where's my finger? And into this guy. And then it works its way through these baffles back and forth. So you can usually tell color difference. It gets darker the farther you go. I don't know how long they've been cooking. But then this one here is the closest to syrup. And then they pour it out of there. So right on this side. That's getting close. and they go by temperature. So this one's pretty much ready to dump. I think when they sit they get to 7 or just over 7. So probably ready for now. Then they'll be dumping syrup out of here. And like I said, the whole thing's wood fired through here. So this will be the last cook-off for the year, I think, because the weather's way too warm now to keep going. Pretty neat. Here you go. And you got to finish that yet, right?
Yeah.
How do you know when to quit? I think it's too thick. It's not running fast enough. On your way. Whoops. That's because I'm filming and I messed it up.
What do you got?
Oh, when I was looking it was 7 and then it went way up.
Way up.
Well, just when you open the valve I think it went up.
You're not even working anymore, is it? I think that's the door. No?
So like I said, I think that's the last cookout for the year, or last boil down, whatever. It's getting too warm now. Total we brought 2,147 liters, I think 2,147. So decent amount. I'll have to do the math there. I'm not even sure. I think it's like 85 or 88 taps. So not as good as I was hoping, but it's been a really warm spring. We need the nights to be below freezing and the days to be above in order for it to really run. And now the next 2 weeks it's all going to be above freezing, so we won't run anymore. Pardon my voice, it's kind of bouncy here. So anyway, yeah, that'll be done. I'm looking forward to getting all that syrup home, and we'll be having that for sale as well as, of course, eating some ourselves. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that. I haven't checked the video there that I tried to take. It was really lots of steam coming off there, so it's kind of hard to see what all was going on, but I think it's a neat process, and hopefully some of that video footage worked out and we can add that in. Alright folks, I got it all together. So these extra pieces I cut off my old plate, that one, oh, on the other side as well, and then there's the bigger ones on this side, and they have a bolt hole in them, and that's actually what holds the pin. So I got them off the other guy. They're welded on here. I put this handle all together, which works pretty good. I actually spring load shut, which is the idea, and it'll lock in place. Had to do some modifying. These guys were manufactured too long, so I cut them off, which worked out good because I needed them in here as a bushing. I can't quite see. Oh, right there. I used them in here as spacers. And so both sides of those, I got to put grease nipples in those holes yet, and then that's good to go. And then we had some T-posts I had to cut off to get something to put the spring on, so that's holding on to there, and that's what actually works for that. So pretty excited to get this put on the tractor. We'll pull these pins out here. There's some grease nipples here I got to free up so that everything's greased and good again, and then we'll pop this new guy on and give her a whirl. That's supposed to happen. Okay, so this winter we cleaned out this area. This used to be a much thicker bush, and we kind of want a sitting area here for campfires, pathway. The houses are there, a pathway going through here to this area, and then through. We want to have raised garden beds just on the other side of this tree line. There's a flat area before it drops off the hill. So it's all part of the plan. I'd like to throw an outside barbecue pit in here, and maybe a smokehouse in here somewhere for our meat. So anyway, as we cleared out all the dead stuff, unfortunately a lot of the trees that were here were actually just dead. It looked like a dense bush, but it was just dead stuff. So all the branches are here. We did this winter, and now we'd like to clean this stuff up. And it's very wet out still this spring, so very low risk of catching the bush on fire. This looks much worse than it is. It's quite a blaze actually, and very hot. As you can tell, Wes is way back there and I'm way back here, and Larry Ann and away then disappeared over there. But yeah, we'd like to get this brush cleaned up, cleared up, and then the resulting fertilizer from that ash is going to be great. We were hauling it off to the other spot where we've been also burning garbage and plastics and stuff just back there, and other stuff that we found here that I don't necessarily want to use as fertilizer. There's some nails in the skids and things like that, so I thought, you know what, why don't we just burn it right here, and when we're done, all that ash can be kicked out for a good fertilizer. Wes figured we should roast some marshmallows, which would work too. Is it a little warm, buddy? Yeah. Oh, it's getting a lot smaller already. What would man do without fire, eh? It's quite something. So we're gonna make sure it doesn't get out of hand. And like I said, everything's pretty damp. I'm not worried about the trees catching, but there is a lot of underbrush here just laying there. So we'll make sure it doesn't get too far out of the way, and then we'll add more sticks to the fire. Here comes Waylon with a rake. I can feel my face drying out. It's pretty warm.